Yesterday when Coach talked to us, he called you a generational talent. Is that something that you think about when you see her, or is it just kind of you're used to it by now, come natural?
But Draft Express just came out with their mock draft 2 years from now, and it's the first time I saw him not number one. They had the guard Darryn Peterson number one.
Darryn Peterson from Kansas is, I think, everything that they say he is.
What do they say he is?
Best guard prospect the last 15 to 20 years.
Hailing from Canton, Ohio, 5-star recruit, Kansas commit, Naismith National High School Player of the Year, 247 Sports #1 player in the class of 2025, and a bunch of other accolades that I don't want to bore you with. Darryn Peterson, ladies and gentlemen. Darryn arrives at Kansas with a pedigree and a whole lot of expectations. Let's dig into Darryn's game and skill set to answer one question. Do you believe the hype?
To me, Darryn's the best player we've recruited since we've been here. When you talk about a player and a combination of a player and a prospect, I think that's without question. So he's a special talent.
We're gonna start with what we always start with. What is Darryn's base? What does he do on the floor right now that places him at an elite level as a prospect? The very first building block of Darryn's base is his athleticism. And you're probably thinking like, duh, of course. He's a D1 athlete. Of course he's athletic. Yeah, he can dunk on people. He can block shots, elevate above others. That kind of stuff, Darryn is elite at amongst his peers. The type of athleticism that I'm talking about though is I'm talking about body control and pace. And some of the best ball handlers in basketball today, for the most part, have insanely good pace, body control, something that I like to call breaks. They have really good breaks. This is what makes them damn near unguardable. Look at the instances where Darryn is sliding past defenders and contorting his body through tight spaces. And most importantly, reacting to the defense while he's moving at that pace. This ability, along with the sneaky physicality and aggressiveness that Darryn plays with, makes him an elite scorer.
Peterson, the spin on Madison, and he shovels it home. His brother Dylan guarding Darryn Peterson. Now that James is out of the game. Peterson, all the way to the rack.
Peterson getting into the defender.
Peterson.
Bucket Jones, the nickname. When did that come from? Where did that come from? And can you talk about the nickname and when you first got that?
I would like to introduce everybody to Bucket Jones. Let's look at some numbers real quick. The point here is that scoring is what Darryn Peterson does. That's why he has the nickname Bucket Jones. Right now, that's Darryn's best skill. Zooming in the DP scoring further, I want to pinpoint where Darryn likes to make his hay at on the floor. DP is seemingly always attacking his defender with the ball in his hands. He's a constant threat to get into the paint with that aforementioned stop to start ability, aka them breaks. And he likes to operate in the mid-range area, pointing back at the sign that says body control, start to stop, dash of strength. It lends itself to another one of Darryn's really great abilities as a scorer. He can counter. And if you're able to stop Darryn from getting to the rim, emphasis on the word if, because there's been instances where you're not standing in front of him Even if there's help defense, he's still going to find a way to find a gap and maneuver and get a little floater up or create space to get a layup off. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
(17-16). Peterson, yes.
And then Bucket Jones, my pops came up with it, like 6th, 7th grade. He said when I was younger, all I cared about was buckets, like not the win or loss, nothing else, just getting buckets. So he gave me the Bucket Jones. Jones, like a Jones for something, like an addiction or something. So he came up with it. I think it defined me a little bit. Now I care about winning and stuff, but I love getting bucks.
With the scoring prowess that we just broke down for Darryn, he draws a lot of attention when he has the ball. And in my search to find games of his to watch, from AAU with Phenom United on the Adidas circuit to Huntington Prep or to Prolific Prep where he spent his senior season at, Darryn's role on these teams for the most part was, you're the guy. And I mean that in a heliocentric way. He was off the ball a little bit for the few Huntington Prep games that I could find, and he was more in the off-ball scoring role. With his talent and skill set, there's a balancing act that he has the possibility to be able to hit, and if he does, whew, watch out, man. This is one of the harder things to do, not just even in Darryn's situation, just not even in basketball, in life. Balance, 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 balance. When you can score the ball at the clip that Darryn does, you need to be able to offset that ball dominance with being able to do two things. And they're both equally hard to do, and I would assume that there's going to be a bit of a learning curve and a struggle to really get the blend correct in that pot. The ability to be able to use your gravity to set the table for your teammates. If you dominate the ball, you need to be able to get the players who don't create for themselves in advantageous situations to score the basketball, or at the very minimum to get a good clean shot off. The second skill is being able to be effective without the ball in your hands as much, and to be able to score and process fast enough to at the same time be a threat to set up others. The burden of the latter definitely lessens in the higher levels that you reach, obviously with the more talent, but this is still a necessity if you're going to be a guy. Darryn has shown this ability at a decent level, and while he's dominating as a scorer on the ball and just having the ball in his hands, he's shown the ability to be able to set up others while doing that. He is adept with making the correct reads in pick and roll situations. He can make the correct passes to attack the help coming to him on drives or on post-ups and catches in the mid-post, and he's also good at getting his teammates the ball in transition. Now, I don't think that Darryn's ceiling as a passer is insanely high, but at this state, I would say that Darryn is an above average playmaker. The other piece to this balancing act, the ability to maintain the level of impact off the ball, hasn't really shown itself enough to be able to really comment on or have a really good read on it for Darryn at this point. And this is something that I'll definitely have a keen eye on as Darryn goes through the season at Kansas here. And we should have some more data points to bring back up when it's time to check in with Darryn at some point this season. Defensively, Darryn is capable of being a playmaker in a few ways, whether it be pressing ball handlers and taking the ball from them, shooting gaps for passing lane steals. Oh, the most impressive one is springing off the floor to either intercept a pass like a cornerback, or he can meet you at the summit and block almost anyone's shot, especially in a weak side situation. But these things don't fully depict Darryn as a defender all the way, and he can process the game at a really, really good speed at this point and use his athletic ability to make plays. There's another side that I did notice while watching some of these games. I do want to preface this though. I know Darryn is a kid. He's 18 right now. His workload on offense is crazy high. But this is something that I think that could continue to be a thing later on down the line on a possession to possession basis. When he's guarding the ball, sometimes his motor wanes. Not in a good solid defensive stance, heavy feet, a lot of reaching and being over aggressive and picking up unnecessary fouls or a thing that reared his head when watching Darryn play. Darryn has the foundation physically to be a lockup defender at 6'5", 195 with the aforementioned body control, pace, all those athletic tools that we previously discussed. That's something that I do want to see improve because the Big 12 is no joke.
Peterson with the block there.
This coming season at Kansas will be muy interesante. One, because of the recent seasons that Kansas has had, disappointing ends in the tournament, early exits, following their championship win in 2022. All of the players from that era and players that were at Kansas for multiple seasons in the past years aren't there anymore. They've had some portal blunders and they're looking to bounce back. And inserting Darryn Peterson into the mix, a prospect that we just detailed, going into a situation at the next level where he needs to stir the drink and lead this team to success. According to his Hall of Fame coach, he's the best player he's ever recruited at Kansas. High expectations, a high bar for Darryn Peterson to clear. And he has the tools and the opportunity to meet and possibly even exceed them. We'll see what unfolds as the season goes along and answer one question definitively. Do you believe the hype?